What's going on, world? And welcome to Clearing the Wreckage Podcast. It's the voice and your host, Kareem A. Rashid. Yes, and once again, I don't know what you got going on. You could be on the toilet or you could be getting off the toilet. Hell, for all I know, you could be wiping your tushy. But I know that I'm ready, and so I hope that you're ready to clear the wreckage. Yes, indeed. What's going on with you today, my wreckage clearers? Hey, I'm a little late walking into the coffee shop, but you were so patient. You decided to wait on me. You say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and wait on Kareem because he always has something good to tell me. And I am opening my mind up to listen and respect his viewpoint and listen to his experience. So today we're going to talk about just that. Open-mindedness. I told you that they told me how to do it when I walked into that support group, when I walked into those rooms. Honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. Yes. And so last week we discussed willingness, and there is another key and vital part of personal growth and development, and of course recovery, as it is for me and my journey and my story. So with that, I just want to first state, before I became willing, my mind had to be opened. Yes, and we discussed how my mind became open with the 4 A's, that self-awareness, right? That acknowledgement, that admitting, and that accepting. So my mind had to open up to the possibility of growth. It opened up to the possibility of change. It opened up to the possibility of being able to stay clean and sober one day at a time. My mind became open to hope. Yes. And how it became more open to that is me going to that support group, me going to that recovery meeting and listening to others in those meetings, to my fellows in that support group. And as I listened to them share their thoughts, their experiences, their hope, right? It opened my mind up a little bit to the possibility of, well, if they can do it, then I can do it, doggone it, one day at a time, right? We've had discussions about this previously, but this is part of how my mind became open. I would love to share that experience with you, and maybe with me sharing this experience, my hope is that it gives you a little bit of hope and it opens your mind a little bit. So with that being said, let's begin. And I do want to share a quick story with you. But as you can see, you cannot see anything. I just want to throw out this. You can't see anything with a closed mind. You can't see anything. You can't see anything that far away. So my mind was closed. I couldn't see far away. I couldn't see that distant. When I looked at those people in those rooms that had 20 years, we've already had this discussion, right? And I saw that and I was like, whoa, no, there's no way. There's no way I'm going to be able to sustain that type of success in recovery for that long. There's no way, right? So my mind was completely closed, and the reason why it was closed is because I only knew one way to recover. Remember, back in 2012, I shared my journey with you from 2012 to 2015. Now we are in 2016. I'm sharing that part of my journey with you and up into now, right? Keep up. I'm sharing a story. I'm sharing my testimony. I'm sharing my story. I'm sharing with you what has been written down so far in the book of Kareem and how he is clearing the wreckage. All right, so let me share a quick story with you. I'll never forget. Oh my gosh, I'll never forget, y'all. And there was one time I was at my friend's house, right? And he was wrapping up a garden hose, and as I observed this, I thought to myself, that's not how you wrap up a garden hose. What is he doing? That is completely the wrong way. And then I said out aloud, which I'm glad I did say it out loud. Hey man, what are you doing? That's not how you wrap up a garden hose. And his response, let me tell you, taught me so much about myself. His response was, well, Kareem, there are more than one ways to skin a cat. And with that response, I was taken aback. I was like, what? Oh my God. It opened my mind up. I never thought about it like that, because as I looked, the hose was wrapped up perfectly. So, which means it opened my mind up to see that, oh yeah, he's right. It's not just my way or the highway. Do you see how closed-minded I was just from that story? And so what happens when we have a closed mind is we cannot see any other way. Right? So the way that we are doing things, the way that we have been going about our life, the way that we have been walking on our journey is the way that we are supposed to go. And next week we're going to dive more deeper into this, because we're going to talk about more aspects of life, and how our mind needs to become open, because it is key and it is vital to just simply growing up, to personal growth and development and maturity. I am here to show you how I have been growing up, to share with you how I have been growing up, how I have been learning to grow on a personal level, how I have been learning to develop, how I have been learning to clear the wreckage, and how I've been learning to have, is particularly with this episode, an open mind. Yes. See, I was taught a certain way to wrap a garden hose. And I thought, well, this is the way that you're supposed to do it, because this is the way that I was taught. So the way that I was taught is the only way to wrap a garden hose for everybody on planet Earth. Man, get the heck out of here with that, Kareem. Your mind is closed. I wonder if you think that way about certain things in your life, certain things that you were taught. I wonder if you still are thinking that way, and you're going, if nobody is doing it this way, then they are wrong. That is my question to you today. I want you to ponder on that as this episode continues and we continue in this conversation. I'm excited to be with you today. I had to take some time. I just want to share it with you real quick. I had to take some time and, take care of myself this week. There was someone who I was close to, a friend of mine, who passed away, and I needed to be there for the family, support them, go to the funeral. And so my mind was kind of not in a place where I could come to you and share this experience with you. So I had to take some time away. So before I started this conversation with you, before I met you at our coffee shop, I needed to go work out. I needed to clear my mind. I needed to focus. I needed to become present, as we talked about before. And I needed to get into my bathtub and fill it with a little bit of Epsom salt. And I needed to focus on becoming present and meditate a little bit, not to escape. This meditation that I did today was to hone in on what it is that I need to say to you, but to hone in on the present moment. Yes. And so I am excited right now. And I want to share with you that in my addiction to alcohol and substances, I thought this is the only way. See, what I thought was this is the only way to freedom. This is the only way to escape. This is the only way to not have any more pain. This is the only way for me to soothe. This is my only relief. The only way. This is all I know. So again, let's go back to the analogy of the baby, because that is who I was. I was a baby. I thought like a baby. I walked like a baby. I crawled. So let's go to that analogy, shall we? So all the baby knows is that the breasts or that bottle or that pacifier is going to give them some kind of relief. Woo, hold on now, don't let me start preaching to you up in here. So when I was in pain or when I was irritated, right, I needed the bottle. I needed some type of substance. I needed sex. I needed whatever it was to give me some type of relief at that moment. The only thing I knew was I do not know how to sit in these moments without escaping it. So as the baby goes, hey, mom, I need your breast. Hey, I'm in pain. I need the bottle. Hey, you know, I'm irritated here. Can you please come and help me? Please come and save me. That's exactly what I was doing. So the baby goes, hey, I need mom's boobs because it has that milk in it. And I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm lonely, I'm angry, all these things. I don't even know what is really going on with me right now because I'm a baby, so I don't really know what I'm feeling. I'm just crying, I'm irritated. But all I know is that the breast has that milk in it. The bottle has that milk in it. The pacifier has similarities to the nipple. So when they give me that, I can latch upon that. And somehow, I don't know how, but somehow I am okay after I receive that pacifier, after I receive that milk from the bottle, after I receive that milk from my mother's breasts. At least for a little while is all I know is that I am okay. So just like baby, so that is why some parents teach their kids how to self-soothe. Right? How to sit in their pain. Remember, I just told you I did not know how to sit in it, how to sit in their pain, how to face the pain. Parent says, nope, I'm not going to run to you just because you're crying, only because you are tired and you're fighting your sleep, and because you are only used to falling asleep on my bosom or in my arms, being rocked, or coming to mom and dad's bed. No. Go ahead and cry, because I am not going to rescue you. So mom and dad knows that, right? So they say, no, cry, and eventually the baby cries themselves to sleep. And what happens over the course of time is that the baby's mind opens up a little bit, right? Their mind opens up a little bit. They say, well, I guess I may not need mom's bosom right now. I may not need to sleep in their bed right now. I may not need that pacifier or that bottle. It seems that I'm still okay without all of that right now. Maybe there are other ways to actually deal with this pain. They learn that. And then they learn, well, this too shall pass. Their mind opens up a little bit. So I'll just cry for a little bit. But I realize that mom or dad are not coming to rescue me this time. So I'll cry for a little while, and I will use the only tool I have to express my emotions as a little baby, which is to cry. And I'll just fall asleep. Right? So I'll fall asleep in a little while, and I will be okay. All will be okay. It will only be a little pain for a moment, but I am okay without that bottle, without that pacifier. I'm okay without mom picking me up. I'm okay without sleeping in mom and dad's bed. I'm okay sleeping in the crib by myself. So as you can see, their mind becomes open to this new idea, this whole new concept. I am no longer addicted to mom's nipple. I'm no longer addicted to mom and dad's bed, the pacifier. I can survive without that. I am okay. I will be okay. So just as it is with recovery or personal growth and development, as it is with recovery, it broke the cycle of addiction for me. It broke the obsession to drink. It broke that. And it breaks it because, see, with the closed off mindset, it keeps me in that cycle of addiction. So the closed off mindset was, hey, you know what? All I know is that mom is coming with the breasts, the nipple, or the pacifier when I'm crying. So all I know is when I'm in pain, all I know is I got to escape this. I got to reach for the bottle. Right now, I need to drink to get out of this moment so that the pain can go away. I know that it relieves my pain. Close mind. So with the open mind, it breaks that cycle. So I did not know there were other ways to deal with my pain except that. I did not know that I could cry. Do we need to go there? We had a conversation about that before. Remember, I was taught, hey, men do not cry. Better not be crying, better suck that up, or I'll give you something to cry about, boy. That is how most of us as men are taught. And I know that there's women listening to this and not trying to exclude you, but this is my journey, my story. So I did not know any other way, y'all. So open-mindedness allows for a willingness to come in, right? To come in, and when that willingness comes in, it brings about a willingness to change and escape the mental trap. Just as it was with the baby, when their mind becomes a little bit more open, they go, oh, you know what? I could just sit here and cry, and I'll just fall asleep and everything will be okay. You know, it'll only be a little pain for a moment. They start to realize that it's just going to last for a little moment and I will be okay. So in learning to self-soothe, the kiddo or the baby learns those new ways, right? Those new concepts, those new ways to adapt on its own. And when the baby actually really needs his parents, right, the baby will then learn different ways to express their needs, different ways to cry. They may use a different tone. Now, of course, the parents can and will be able to differentiate the sounds of the baby or the sounds that the baby makes, right? So in other words, the baby begins to learn what they can control, what they cannot control. So earlier, as I described, okay, you know what? Mom's not going to come to rescue me this time. I'll just cry for a little bit, then I'll go to sleep. They learn, okay, I can't really control this, and they learn what they can control. I can control the way that I make a sound, the way that I cry, so that if I really do need mom or dad, they will come. You get what I'm saying? Okay, so when I cry like this means, hey, mom, dad, I'm tired. So when I cry or moan like this, I just need your attention. So when I make a sound like this, I need my diaper change. Or, when I cry like this, that means that I'm tired. So then the baby begins to acknowledge when it needs help from their parents and when he or she does not. So open-mindedness facilitates acceptance of help, or I should say it facilitates or even brings about the asking of help. Yes. So as it was with me at that time in my life, it facilitated this kind of acceptance of help or the asking of help. Open-mindedness promoted, and it promotes a new way of thinking. It promoted in me, hey, this is a new way of thinking, right? The pain will only last for a moment, right? Remember, for the baby, they learn a new way to think. Okay, so mom and dad will not come to me when I cry like this, because they know that I don't really need anything from them. Mom and dad comes to me when I really do need them, though. So in other words, for me, it enables me to see how my distorted thinking has led to failure, right? So my distorted thinking was, oh my gosh, I'm in pain. I must escape this. Right? So it helps me to accept the alternative viewpoints, alternative ways to adapt for a sustainable way to live a healthier life. Now I know, okay, you know what? I'm in a little bit of pain, but this will subside. This will subside. Let's go back to the baby a little bit. So the baby realizes what actually works, okay? So as it was for me, I realized what actually works. So the baby realizes what actually works. And with that, I believe that trust is built, right? They begin to know that their parents will always be there when they are really in dire need. So that then increases the likelihood for success. Hey, I can depend on mom or dad because I know when I really need them, they will be there. And of course, they will come to my aid, right? Hey, also, I can do some things on my own to help me feel better now that I have learned a couple of new tools, right? Oh my God. You know what I realized? Here's this little toy thing right here. In fact, dang, I got several of these things that I can actually put in my mouth, that I can actually reach for, and I can soothe myself. Remember, they learned this type of practice by becoming open-minded earlier, right? Oh, mom's not coming, dad's not coming. Okay, you know what? I can cry for a little bit. Everything will still be okay. It builds trust. They realize that mom and dad have actually gave me some tools here. They gave me some toys. They gave me some things I can put in my mouth. Right? They also gave me this little stuffed animal that I could play with. I realized how much joy this thing brings to me. Plus, it looks weird, so it makes me smile. I can easily play with this and be okay. So being open to these new ideas and concepts or approaches, right? They become open to different approaches is directly linked to a greater ability to succeed in recovery and personal growth and development because it allows for course correction and adaptation when things are not working. The baby realizes this works and that doesn't work. Okay, so I can course correct here. I got these tools over here. So as it is with me in recovery, I have these tools here. Oh my God, a meeting starts at this time. Another meeting starts at this time. Another meeting starts at this time. Here's what I can do today because there are some tools that are put in place for me for success. So for me, it's like I realized and I became self-aware. My mind became open to the acknowledgement that this is no longer working for me. Just like the baby, right? Oh my gosh, mom ain't coming no more when I cry. So I got to figure out some new ways. I got to figure out some new concepts. I got to open my mind a little bit to figure out how, not necessarily just to get mom and dad to come to me, but I need to figure out, okay, what is mom and dad doing and why are they not coming to me? They're probably not coming to me because I really don't need them. I need to figure out these things. My mind became open a little bit more to those things, just as baby. I hope this is making sense for you. So let me break it down a little bit more. So back then, I realized, right, I became self-aware. We talked about this on the awareness episode and then the acknowledgement and admitting episode, right? So I became aware that this is no longer working for me. This solution that I reach for every time I'm lonely, every time I'm hungry, every time I'm tired, every time I'm angry, every time I'm in fear, every time I'm insecure, every time any emotion, any pain, it is no longer producing success or growth. This is not working. All it is producing a more dependency upon this temporary relief. It also does not take away any of my problems. I wake up the next day in more pain. It creates more wreckage, right? I'm more angry and resentful than I was yesterday. Everyone else is the problem. Life sucks, and I'd rather die. This is not helping. Remember, I came to that conclusion due to my mind becoming open a little bit, due to the self-awareness. I realized I was filled with guilt and sorrow. My life is falling apart. I'm stuck. I feel lost. All right, so let's recap so this could all make sense. Because I don't want to lose you in this episode. I don't want to lose you. I want your mind to be open enough to understand exactly what I'm sharing with you. Let's recap real quick, shall we? So open-mindedness is key to personal growth and development because it encourages learning, adaptability, and self-awareness, while it is crucial also for recovery by helping us as individuals break from old patterns and embrace new ways of thinking. It fosters personal growth by allowing us to consider new ideas, challenges those assumptions. The assumption that I had, oh my God, everybody wraps up the garden hose this way. This is how you're supposed to wrap up the garden hose. And it increases creativity, and it leads to better decision making, builds trust in relationships. Okay? So with that, let's go back to the baby. As I was talking about, the baby figures out new ways of thinking. The baby becomes a little bit more creative. Oh my God, I have this little tool. I have this little toy that I can play with. Right? So the same as it was with me in recovery, open-mindedness is vital for acknowledging problems, accepting or asking for help, changing disruptive behaviors, clearing the wreckage by moving past that fixed or closed off mindset, those little fixed ideas that I had. I couldn't see far enough. I couldn't see the bigger picture. So being open-minded expands our horizons, right? As I gave you the great analogy of how the baby begins to expand their horizons by realizing, oh, hey, I got these toys over here. This stuffed animal my parents gave me, they will be there for me when I am in need, but I can also use these tools that I have to create success. Right? I can seek out and consider new ideas and perspectives. So let me seek out this little stuffed animal. Maybe this little stuffed animal that they gave me will produce a little bit of joy, produce a little bit of happiness, will probably take my mind off of what is irritating me. So as it is with recovery, if I go to this meeting, maybe it will take my mind off of what is irritating me. If I decide to actually give to someone else, it may take my mind off of what is irritating me. You understand what I'm saying? So the baby seeks out and considers this new idea, this perspective. I don't know. Maybe this will work if I put it in my mouth. You know how babies put things in their mouth all the time? Maybe this will work if I put this in my mouth. This little animal looks weird and somehow it brings me happiness. Right? So this has broadened my understandings of my world a little bit. It expands their horizons. I have more options than just my mom's breasts, pacifier, or bottle. I have more sustainable options. Like I can go to the support group like my therapist suggested. I don't know. Maybe that will work. Maybe I can start by imitating what I saw them do on that movie. Maybe I can clean my closet out just like they did. Y'all hear me? Maybe I can clean my closet out just like they did on that movie. Maybe I can go in there and do exactly what they did. I don't know. Maybe this will work. It broadens our horizons and open, to new ideas and new perspectives. So being open-minded facilitates and or births adaptability because it allows you to be more flexible and graceful in the face of change, which is essential for navigating an ever-changing world. Oh no, mom and dad is not here, but the babysitter is. And I've had a hard time with the change because here is somebody new coming into my little world. And I didn't necessarily have a hard time with her as being the babysitter. She didn't do anything wrong, but, she does things a little bit different. She doesn't have a breast that I can latch on to. Y'all hearing me? Don't let me start preaching up in here. She barely knows how to hold me correctly. Sometimes she doesn't even know whether to give me the bottle if I'm sleepy. But I guess I can adapt because I can show her my different sounds. Kind of like how I do with mom and dad. Or I could just grab one of my toys. Either way, I am self-aware and realize that this too shall pass and I will be okay while mom and dad are away. It's okay to go to a different support group. Yes, your therapist suggested this. It is okay to go to a different support group. It is okay to listen to others. Maybe they know something that I don't. Well, who would have thought? Well, no, Kareem knows everything, right? Well, no, you know everything, right? You're listening to this podcast, and you're like, I don't need to listen to you. I already know this stuff. Or you walk upon your life and your journey and you're at work and somebody gives you a suggestion and you go, you know what, man, forget your suggestion. I already know what I'm doing. Or somebody tells you something, one of your friends, they just give you a little bit of information and you get defensive and you're like, man, I know. Your mind is closed. It is time to open your mind up a little bit to new ideas, new perspectives. It is okay if someone do things a little bit different than you do. It's okay. The world is not going to collapse because somebody thinks differently than you, because somebody does something differently than you. So for me, I had to open my mind to that new idea, that new concept. Hey, they may do things a little bit different here at this support group. That's okay. Open-mindedness encourages creativity and problem solving. There are other things that I also can do. You know, I can journal. I can go for a walk. I can call my sponsor. I can go to another meeting later. It sparks innovation inside of us a little bit. Open-mindedness also improves relationships. It builds trust. Let's go back to the baby and her parents. I talked about that, how it's built. The kiddo begins to build trust in her parents. I know that my parents will be there when I really need them. So for me, my trust was only in alcohol. I know alcohol will be there when I need it, but now I'm trying to go without alcohol and drugs. Man, who is going to be there for me when I really need it? So it helps me build trust, not only in a relationship with myself. Am I going to not reach for the drink? But it helps me build trust in the Most High. Yes, your higher power, God, has many names. I choose to call it the Most High God. And improve my relationship with the Most High because it helped me to know that, man, my higher power, God, has always been there for me every time I needed God. God was there. It opened my mind to come to that realization, to come to that awareness that, hey, I'm still here. Hey, I'm still alive. God has rescued me from so much. Why wouldn't God rescue me from this? Just like baby, mom and dad has been there for me all this time. Why wouldn't they be there for me when I really need them? It builds trust and improves your relationship with your higher power, with God, with the Most High, God, with the Creator. So it helped me to understand and respect the viewpoints of others also, which gave me a deeper connection to my Creator, to God, right? A new experience. And I'll share this story with you real quick. And so when I walked into those rooms, it was different from, okay, so remember, I was going to church. When I walked into those rooms, I felt something different, but it was a great feeling. It was a feeling of a presence, a spirit was there. I felt the spirit of the universe. I felt the spirit of the Most High God was in this place because my mind became open to those new ideas. Hey, let me try out this place. Maybe this will work. I don't know. My therapist suggested it. Maybe she knows what she's talking about. So it opened my mind up to that, and it also refined my own belief system. And that's something that we're going to talk about on the next episode. We're not going to get into it so much today, but it builds harmonious relationships. Remember I told you the story about how I asked this gentleman to be my sponsor? or mentor. And he was completely different from me. My mind became open to, hey, I hear this guy all the time. I've been here for about 3 weeks. I'm listening to this guy. This guy, man, this guy has something. This guy has a story to tell. Man, I'm watching this guy's life. I'm like, I want what he has, right? And so the relationship that I had with him built, and it produced harmony. Produced harmony between a 66-year-old man and a 36-year-old kid. White man from Texas and a black kid from the hood. Would you believe that, huh? I was able to have a harmonious relationship with this person because of my mind becoming open. You cannot have a good relationship with anyone on this earth if you have a closed mind. If you think you are the end-all, be-all, you know it all, then you're going to argue, you're going to defend, you're going to be right about everything, and nobody can get along with you. Nobody would not even want to be around you. Just throwing that out there, by the way. That's pretty much all I got for you today. Just remember that being open-minded increases self-awareness, because then you'll be able to question yourself, right? I was able to question myself. We talked about this on being honest. Then I was able to check my motives. I was able to question my motives. I was even able to question my own biases, my own assumptions. And so next week, we'll dive deeper into more open-mindedness in terms of cultivating this in all aspects of our lives to clear the wreckage, right? We're going to talk about how I've cleared the wreckage of my confirmation bias and all those things, right? And so we'll get a little bit deeper into that. Being open-mindedness, we've already recapped. So becoming open-minded is vital and key to personal growth and development, because you're able to grow by the help of others, by the help of community, by the help of God. If you're not willing to listen, if you're not willing to have your mind open up a little bit, you will still be stuck. You will still be in the cycle of addiction. You will still be doing the same things. Listen, I got a story to tell next week. Whoo! And you're going to see how closed-minded I still was. My mind was becoming open, but I still wanted to keep it closed because I still thought I knew everything. And I can't wait to share that story with you next week. Anyway, until then, as I always leave you, take some time to look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear. Peace.